All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
Welcome on in, everybody. NorCal Sports Network. Tuesday, February 4th, just a week from tomorrow. Pitchers and catchers report. So we can get a little more Giants talk in here. Welcome in, Lou Marston. All right, everybody. The show is brought to you by Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group. Check them out in the description of this show or give them a call. 415-613-9483. Maybe it's a personal injury you got or a family member and don't know who to call. Give Chapman Law Group a call. They will help you out with and get you the best deal possible. Also, they can handle many other things. Licensed in all of California, in Marin. Let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, everybody. Lots going down right now. Could any moment we could get breaking news, which would promptly turn this show into a basketball trade show. But for now, we're talking some Giants baseball. Hey, George, how are you? George, I got your T-shirt mailed out today, so probably arrive around Friday. That was, who did I send those out to today? George and somebody else. Trying to remember. Anyway, shirts are on the way. Got a text here from Mark Graves just a little bit ago. Sounds like something is going down soon. KD with a hurt ankle. LOL. Wiggins not on the flight to Utah. Huh. Interesting. We'll see. That could take place. Anyway, Wiggins. I'd rather see Draymond go in the deal if they're going to trade for KD. But Dan, I haven't seen a cap like that in a long, long time. Yeah, Graham, this is a New York Giants ball cap. That's right. Yep. Oh, yeah. And I just got texted from my son. Happy birthday to Bo. Bo turns 1 today, guys.
Nice.
Bo is 1. Yeah.
The great Bo.
Yes. So, guys, we're going to talk about the Giants tonight. And are they the worst franchise in Major League Baseball? And before we get into that, we'll break some things down. Is why the headline, is it some people think, is it clickbait, or is it just possibly the facts? I will tell you this, Lou. I don't know of a team that's in a top 5, top 7 market that's run more poorly, though. And, the White Sox had the worst record, most losses in modern history last year, 121 losses. And yet they seem to at least be making moves to change the course. They're like, okay, we're going to move off Crochet. We're going to get some young guys from Boston. We're looking to move Luis Robert, and they're going to try to rebuild it. The Giants, I don't know what their plan is. You got Chapman and Adames signed to 6- and 7-year deals. I get the Adames deal. I really do. I can even get the Chapman deal to a certain extent if you're going to try and win. But it appears they're trying to do a soft rebuild this year. And I'm just not sure if that is going to work out. I like the idea of letting the young guys play. I personally, I would make it more obvious. I wouldn't even have Yaz on the team. I wouldn't have offered him $9.25 million when you could have just said, you know what? You're a free agent. Go, and maybe we'll sign you back for $4 million or $5 million. But, we're not giving you $9 million. See what you can get on the open market. We've got Matos. We've got McRae. And our outfield is going to be one of these young guys is going to take it, McRae or Matos, and we're going to go with Lee and Ramos. Why do you want a 34, almost 35-year-old who's like it's not like he's a 275 hitter and, hey, he's really productive at the plate. Let's keep him for an extra year, even though he's probably not going to be here in a year from now. But, he's really productive. No, he's not productive. So I don't get that. I don't get the idea of first base. And I just think that they should be like just making it very crystal clear that they are going to rebuild now, or at least go with the young guys. So there's a mixed signal, Lou. I don't know. What do you think? You've been watching this team forever. You got a close bird's eye.
Yeah, I got a couple things to say. First of all, I know Ryan really wants this trade, but TNT is saying KD's going to Dallas. So I just want to bring that up. He's not going to the Warriors. He's going to the Mavericks. And it's going to be KD and AD. And they've been talking about it all day on TNT before the Celtics game, and at halftime they bought it up. So I'm not sure where Ryan is. I know he's reading that KD might come to the Warriors, but I think he's going to Dallas. And if that happens, wow. Here's a team that people said, hey, you're nuts. I don't know who they're giving up, but that's something that TNT and they were talking about. So I just want to bring that up. And then I want to bring another thing up. Kevin said, hey, owners aren't helping Buster, so let's give him a break. Why should we give him a break? His job title is president of baseball operations. He's been in existence for 6 months, okay? I'm not giving anybody a break. I don't care who his name is. If it was Farhan in charge, we'd still be upset or let down. So let's make sure of one thing. I'm not giving Buster a break. Why? Because it was Buster that made sure we signed Chapman for 6 years. We don't like it. It was too many years, but that was literally his first move, even though he wasn't baseball operations. He did it from an owner's perspective. Second of all, he was the one that said he's very happy with us trading Mr. Rogers and saving $6 million. We're $26 million under. We don't know what we're doing unless you're going to pick somebody up. I'm very upset at Buster. To tell you the truth, he's more let me down. He's made one move. He's made Adames, and then he signed Yaz. Yaz is horrible. Let's get that straight. 7 years, disaster. He doesn't help the team, guys. And then I thought once we got rid of Farhan, we weren't going to platoon anymore, but we are. We might not platoon not just one, but 2 positions. So we're in the same boat again. The other thing is who he picked as a GM is under Farhan's mold. That was his call. Nobody else's his call. So he's made 3 mistakes in the first 6 months. So I'm not giving him a break. But getting back to what you say is every other team, and what upsets me is teams like Detroit that, made the playoffs are trying to get better. They're now, right now, maybe one of the favorites to get Bergman. They don't care. They're making trades to make their teams better. Guys got to realize we're not better than last year. Okay, how do I know that? First of all, we lost a possible Cy Young. And in replacement, we got a 42-year-old guy that only had 17 starts. Webb is now a dad. We don't know how he's going to be after 2 years of pitching over 200 innings. And really, last year he could sort of go hide behind Snell because everybody knew how good Snell was. Now he's the main guy again. It's a lot different. It's like being a 6-man in basketball. Now you're starting and you're the main star. Everything changes. The other thing about the Giants is I'm not a big fan of Melvin. We got him as a safe move. There were other people out there. We dropped the ball on there. And, I just think the Giants are just playing it safe. And, I don't want them to play it safe. I mean, I'm a season ticket holder. I want to go and see excitement. But to tell you the truth, they're still very boring. And I think that's a big thing about the Giants. They're boring. They're hard to watch. You know, we have two announcers that everyone thinks is great that are old. You know, Krug and Kuiper getting old. You know, so I think that's another problem. What happens is the Giants fans and the Niner fans have fallen in love with their players too much. I know it's a business. I think the only reason why we have Yaz is for some reason we love him. It's the same thing with Bozo with the Warriors. Someone says, oh my God, this guy's great. He's not that great. He's average. And in business, you got to do stuff that's going to help the team. And they're just sort of stagnant. You know, they're boring and they're stagnant. So I'll just leave it at that.
All right. There we go. And we did have the ESPN rankings come out. Kylie McDaniel, who is a pretty good evaluator of talent, has put out their rankings. And you know what? I need to log in here. It's on ESPN. What's that?
Do we have multiple players to look forward to the future of the Giants?
We have one right now. In Bryce Eldridge. Let me see if I can log in here. Wait a minute.
One guy.
Hold on.
That's what else is scary. All the other teams that you might think, probably Chicago has more talent in the minors.
Chicago has a ton.
Yeah. See?
All right. And
they're thinking of the future.
Let me pull up the rankings here for the ESPN. Who do you think's number one, by the way?
Probably someone American League, probably someone like Baltimore. I know Colorado has a stud, but I don't think he's that high. Probably someone like Atlanta, who usually always has someone good in the minors. I don't think the Dodgers have anyone. Oh, the Dodgers. God. 800 prospects in the top 100. That's shocking.
Okay.
That's their C team, huh? Their C team.
Look at the White Sox, how awful they are. But look where they're at. They're coming with prospects. Tigers. Who's running the Tigers? A guy that used to be with the Giants.
He ran for his life. He got freedom.
Red Sox, Tampa, Minnesota, Seattle. I think Colorado's probably 10 or 11 if I'm guessing. Let's see. Where is Colorado? Oh, maybe they're lower now. Cincinnati, Baltimore, Miami. Where the heck's Colorado? Or did we already pass them? No, they're 18. Okay. 19 Cardinals. We move forward 20, 21, KC 22, the A's 23. Where's the Giants, guys? There's 30 teams. Oh, the Padres have fallen. Oh, I think we're getting closer. We got to be, right? There's only 2 left. There they are. Okay. All right. Now, let's just talk about this, because the way they do this is it's based on if you're available for rookie status. And so they're talking about guys that have already kind of graduated in Fitzgerald, Ramos, Bailey, McCray, Schmidt, Luciano, Matos, Harrison, Walker, Birdsong. So the Giants have brought some guys to the big leagues in the last few years. So he goes on to say that he thinks next year they could be in the top 15, the Giants, with some prospects. We'll see. But the fact is they're ranked 29th, and the Bleacher Report has them 30th. Okay. So why do I say they might be the worst run organization? Because they don't seem they've had one winning season since 2017. That's 8 seasons that they've played, and they've had one winning season. Get that through. 1 out of 8. And it took them 6 years to fire the clown. And the people running it, Greg Johnson and Larry Baer, they were content on keeping him. I think Buster probably just stepped in and said, guys, we something's got to change. We can't bring this guy back. I'll take over. And you know what? They're probably, I don't know, they're probably not even giving him a salary. Are they giving Buster a salary for that? Like you said, Lou, they maybe gave him a higher percentage to run of ownership. So the Giants are, it's not all bad news. I don't want to sound alarming like there's no hope. There is some hope in some players. Adames is a good ball player. He's a good, solid, everyday shortstop that can produce. Ramos, I believe, is a good ball player. You got Eldridge coming. Bailey is a really good catcher. He can't hit very good. You've got Webb. You've got Birdsong potentially coming. Harrison still could figure it out. You got some bullpen arms in Walker and Duvall that could figure it out. Hicks, if you move him to the bullpen, could be pretty good. Look, they've got the makings of a near 500 team. They've got some good players. Fitzgerald could be a surprise. He could turn out to be pretty good. I still think Casey Schmidt, if given the opportunity, could be a good ball player. He was in the minors. He was in college. He was very good in the minors. I don't know why that didn't translate to giving him playing time. Same with Matos. Give him playing time. So there is some bright spots that are on the horizon. The Giants just have never given them the opportunity to play. He never let them play. Ramos got to play because of injuries. They don't really have a direction, guys. Elliot Ramos was discovered by mistake. And I am telling you, I could see that he had talent, and I told you he needed to play. Guys come up and struggle at the plate, and they get 20 at bats, and everybody's ready to write them off as if they suck. And if you've ever played the game of baseball, it's all about adjustments. I mean, come on, the best players in the world in the history of the game have slumps that go 0 for 25. Okay, it happens. So let's not get on these young guys. And this is why they should have fired Farhan 2 years earlier than they did, because he didn't play the young guys. He screwed their values up. Look what he did to Joey Bart. These guys, you didn't have real baseball people running the show. Now, Buster, as Lou said, he's made some mistakes, and he's not ready to give him much more of a chance because he's done some of the same things that Farhan was doing. Hired a guy that Farhan had brought in from Milwaukee. He's been there 6 years. So, and he re-signed Yaz. Now, I'll say this about Buster. I don't know exactly, Graham. In your opinion, it's not until year 3 in the big leagues you really know what you have. Great, good, average, or bad. Absolutely. Takes a couple years. Some of these guys that have written off Giants, I've had discussions with people on Twitter about it, about guys that looked awful, like, oh, Casey, he can't hit, get rid of him. You know how bad Jackson Holiday looked last year? It's like, you're going to judge him off of 150 at bats because he sucked?
First round
couldn't
overall pick, and he got sent back to the minors to learn how to hit. It happens.
Right. It happens. It happens.
And that's why with Eldridge, I'm just worried. Don't rush him. Look what happened with the number 1 overall pick. He had problems. And, the other thing is, say Eldridge comes up and he's success, the Giants are more successful. But just in case, what happens if he comes up and struggles? We take another 2 steps back.
Yeah, you're going to have to give him time, guys. This regime is probably a few years away from competing. And it's because they haven't really chosen a path. They're trying to mix some veterans in with young guys. but it's not like you're mixing veterans that are veterans toward the end of the career like Brandon Crawford was a year or two ago. You've signed guys for 6 years and 7 years, the biggest contracts given out in the history of the club.
Ever.
I mean, Adames, biggest contract. Chapman's maybe third or fourth, something like that. But right there, what is the plan? I mean, if you signed Adames and you signed Chapman, why not go out and get a guy like Willie Adames? Pete Alonso? What would happen if you actually made the playoffs and had some excitement? And you said, yeah, Pete, you had a great year here. You want to opt out. How about if we tear up that deal, the opt-outs that we signed you to, and we increase the price and give you a couple more years on top of that, guaranteed. Oh, maybe you find something, and then, what are we going to do with Eldridge? We got Alonso. We have no room for Eldridge.
Oh, that's a horrible problem to have.
What a problem.
You adjust.
You adjust. It's kind of like a guy by the name of
McCovey and Cepeda.
Yeah, I was going to use a basketball now. It slipped my mind, but a guy by the name of Monta Ellis. Oh, we got Monta Ellis. We got what do we do? We got Curry, and he's hurt with his ankle, but we got Ellis. You
trade him for a center finally, and now it equals championships.
Yeah, exactly.
That trade never happened. The Warriors still probably wouldn't have won a championship.
Right.
So be in that rut.
The thing with Eldridge, if Alonso, you had him and he was doing good and he was staying, why not just take Pete and move him over to the DH, and he occasionally plays first base and he helps instruct. Yeah, I know he's not the greatest first baseman, but he's played it for 6 years in the big leagues. Let him help instruct Eldridge a little bit, and you bring them both. And there's room, guys. There's always room. What would you rather have? 2 crappy players at a position, or 2 really, really good players at the same?
Is that a trick question? Hey, Dan, we got a super chat.
Yeah, I see that. Let's
from John Holmes. I've never heard of John. Hey, John, how are you?
Thank you, John. Super sticker, $5.
What does the sticker say?
It just says super sticker.
Super Holmes goaltender.
Yeah, goaltending. I think it's goaltending. But
John, welcome.
Yeah. So I don't understand the mentality of the organization when you clearly have the money. I mean, you could still sign Alonso and stay under the luxury tax. You could sign Alonso and a couple of relievers and stay under the luxury tax if you got rid of Yaz. I mean, they just signed Tim Hill today, the Yankees, for $2.85 million. He's a lefty, and he's pretty effective lefty, especially when he's facing left-handed hitters. He's really hard to hit. He's got that funky delivery, and the Yankees thought of him as good enough for their bullpen. Why didn't Buster? Eric Miller's the guy?
That's
You're
it.
one and
lefty.
only?
One lefty.
And only. On the entire 40-man roster. Who's thinking baseball? I thought Buster was, he knows everything about the game, right?
He's not paying attention to NorCal Sports Network, obviously.
I mean, just because somebody was a great player and is a great human being and is a, tremendous giant, tremendous husband, father, all these great things. We all love Buster. Heck, I told you my dog is named Buster. Okay.
Yep.
What are we doing with, and I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, this is going to be a rebuilding year. Well, what are you going to build on after this year? What's the stepping stone for 26? What's the plan? Because You certainly don't have a plan that says we're going to go sign so-and-so, because you have, number one, you have no control who you get to sign. And number two, next year's crop of free agents is basically Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Kyle Tucker. And I don't think you're going to get either one of those guys.
Yeah.
And
just like no, go ahead. No, what I was going to say is, the thing also about Buster, I forgot to say when we first started, is the Giants are $26 million underneath their penalty. So you trying to tell me they couldn't have signed Bergman like the Cubs did 4 years for $96 million? You still would have been under. I mean, he signed yesterday.
Who did?
So now the Cubs.
Who
Bergman
signed yesterday? Bregman?
He signed with the Cubs. Yeah.
No, he didn't. Alex Bregman?
Yeah.
He's unsigned.
Had a couple of people on the chat, and I'm on here. Alex Bergman on a 4-year, $94 million deal with an opt-out after the first 2 seasons. It's been a busy side for Chicago's north side.
No, he didn't sign yet. It's Bregman.
I know. I've said it wrong since day one. Here, let me go to ESPN baseball. And then somebody else on the chat was saying too, why in the hell did we sign him? Here.
Oh, Bregman's a free agent, Lou.
Still, okay. That's a false report then.
Yeah.
My fault. But, I'm just saying stuff like that. I understand we're $26 million under. What are we going to spend it on? What are we waiting for?
They're not spending it. They are
so
not.
We're going to be $26 million under the cap.
To
get cheaper. I mean, they raised the season tickets. It's horrible.
I bet you they get even further under, because they will probably try to trade Yaz at some point. And you know what they're going to end up doing? They're going to have to pay $5 million to Yaz, and they're going to say, we just paid $5 million to a guy we don't even have.
So that's twice. They've given up $11 million and given up 2 of your players.
Yeah. No one's taking Yaz's $9 million. I guarantee it. Yeah. Roku Giants had to pay $8.25 to John. Yeah. They're just going to, I just don't understand. You had the perfect opportunity to let Yaz just walk. And you could have re-signed him, but some team probably would have signed him. Some team probably would have given him 2 years and
$4 million
and $14 million.
2 years.
Somebody would have given him 2 years, $14 million, something like that. 7.5 a year. Yeah. But so I don't, Mark, that I see that his mentality, can't keep up with the Dodgers, so why spend more? That may be his mentality, but he has an opportunity to actually try to get into the playoffs. And if you actually could have had an infield. Think about this. If you played your cards right, you could have had an infield of Alonso, Bregman, Chapman, and Adames. You could have had
definitely a playoff possibility.
Yeah. If you got rid of a guy like Yaz at $9 million, $4 million for Tom Murphy, that's $13 million. And then if you could have actually gotten rid of Rogers' full salary, if you would have shopped it a little bit more, somebody would have taken the 11, 12 million. You could have gotten rid of 23 million, 24 million right there. 3 players.
That's the 2 guys right there.
Exactly. Now you have now, and if you would, and you could have gotten, you probably could have got rid of some other portions of salary. So you could have had if you really wanted to build a plan. See, the Giants, what I don't understand is if, again, you sign these guys, they're tradable if things don't work out. They're all tradable. I hope they are not locked in to Chapman and Jung-Hoo Lee forever. I did a video today, guys, on Jung-Hoo Lee. I think if Jung-Hoo Lee is having a decent season and the Giants are stinking and out of it at the trade deadline, why wouldn't you try and trade Jung-Hoo Lee for something that is very useful to the organization that you can use as a, whether it's a power hitting outfielder or a pitcher? We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen, though. Does Lee have a bounce back year? We'll see. But I really think, Lou, that this particular time with this organization, to me, it's about as I heard Buster Posey. We heard it the other night.
He didn't even answer the question. Talked about
What
rehab.
He asked about championships. The question was about championships, and his answer was something to the effect, well, why even play if you're not playing for a championship? And then he went on to this whole thing about it's a process, you got to, and he gives an injury update, like when he had to rehab his ankle. And I'm thinking to myself, you're talking about your ball club needs rehabbed, and it's going to, so I don't see a path right now, guys, with the way they have the club, unless they make several trades off the big league roster. And I'm talking veterans like Webb and Chapman, possibly Adames and Lee, and maybe Lee's worth keeping. We'll see. He's still young, but you got Chapman's going to be 32, Adames going to be 30. And if you're not competing, what is going to make the team better in 26?
Yeah. It's almost like a 2-year experiment. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
Dan, I got to go downstairs for a second. I got FedEx, so I'm just going to be one second. I'll be right out. Hold on.
All right. Very good. Okay. He'll be right back. That's kind of my thinking on this, guys, is what is the plan to get better in 26 when there's not a great free agent class? So if these guys don't really pan out, what do you do if Fitzgerald has a kind of regresses a little bit? What do you do if Ramos regresses slightly? What do you do if Chapman doesn't have the type of year and he hits back closer to 235, 240? And Adames hits in the low 240s and his home run production goes from 33 to 24. What do you do if first base isn't is a big problem? Bailey still struggles at the plate. What do you do if some of these young guys don't even produce? How do you build off that? The Giants, to be competitive and going forward and to be a franchise that is going in the right direction, you've got to have Ramos have a really good season again. You've got to have Fitzgerald have a good season. He's got to build on that. You've got to hope Matos builds on something. And you've got to see Chapman and Adames continue to play well. Bailey's got to pick it up. All these things take place, and it could. I'm just saying, if it doesn't happen, what's the fallback plan for the Giants? Because they won't be able to trade some of these guys for, much better younger players, and they won't be able to grab anybody in free agency. And your farm system doesn't have anything that's on the horizon except Eldridge and maybe McRae. Of course, Robert, you're going to say these players will play up to their expectations. You've been saying that, Robert, for 3 years. Look, Robert, I know that I'm not right all the time and you're not wrong all the time, but I've been right all the time and you've been wrong all the time. So I just don't get where you're coming from, Robert. One of these days, you're going to be right, and I'm going to be wrong about this team, and I'm going to be thrilled that you're right and I'm wrong. But you can't keep coming out and saying all this positive stuff when it hasn't happened, Robert. I mean, look, I love you, but the law of averages, well, law of averages, Robert, a turd is a turd, right? I mean, it doesn't turn into perfume. So I don't know. I mean, how do you turn, if guys just aren't good, they're just not good. And I don't see the time to find out, Robert, was the last 2 years. Fitzgerald should have been playing every day last year. Schmidt should have been playing every day last year. Luciano and Matos, all these guys should have been playing every day, because two things would have happened. One, they would have got the at-bats and the time to develop and make adjustments. And two, you'd have more of a gauge on what they're capable of. And, Matos goes over to Venezuela this offseason, and he becomes whatever they call it, whatever the award he got. I don't know if it was, I heard somebody say rookie of the year. I don't know what that meant. I would think it was MVP of the season, but whatever it was, he had a really good winter ball in Venezuela. So to me, you've got to be playing these young guys. And the time to do it was the last year or two. And I don't know if they're going to do it this year. Mr. Irrelevant. No, I think he did get a FedEx package because he got a ding on his phone with his doorbell. Yeah, George, I agree. I like Fitz. He has a chance to be a good player if he can make contact. He has speed, which can help a slump. The coaches need to assess his game. Ramos should be solid. I like he keeps his hands inside swing. Yeah, I think Ramos is going to be a really good ball player. Senior says it is confirmed that they aren't on the flight. Or is it confirmed that they are? Is it confirmed? Okay. Talking about some of the Warrior players there. So Roku, let's see Fitz and Matos and hope for, I never hope for an injury, but I don't know. I definitely would love to see Schmidt play. I think you would see a ball player that is hungry. I really do. I think if Casey wants to play and he's chomping at the bit to play, and unfortunately the Giants haven't given a position for him. They blocked him. And this is what I'm talking about, the way the organizations run. I don't understand the infatuation. It runs through the entire organization with Chapman. It really does. It runs through. I'd let Luciano play too. Yeah. Yes, I want to see him play third base. I don't understand the infatuation with Chapman throughout the organization, it's as third base. They just Googled and gagaed over Chapman last year. And yes, he played some phenomenal third base. But hold on. Okay, he played phenomenal at third base, but the organization, and I get it, everybody loves a guy that's a winner as far as attitude, that comes to play, and he's a great baseball player, runner, clubhouse guy. I get all that. But you got to sometimes just look at the production of the whole thing. So why do I think the Giants, do I think they're the worst franchise in baseball? I don't know if they're the worst. They're definitely the worst of the big group, the big teams. I mean, who's the big teams? The New York teams, the Dodgers, Boston, Toronto. I mean, look at Toronto. They're actually making some solid moves. The big markets, Chicago's. I mean, the White Sox are a worse team, but look, they're heading in the right direction. I just don't know what the Giants' direction is. I don't like a lot of their types of players. I don't see a lot of athletic players. I think Eldridge is a very athletic 6'7" tall guy. He's athletic. Fitzgerald, very athletic. So I got to believe that hold on. Buster, stop. My dog's distracting me with licking his paws. All right. I don't see much athleticism on the Giants roster. Jung-Hoo Lee, Ramos. Again, Fitzgerald. I think what you got to do is make Fitzgerald I think he could potentially be a good leadoff hitter. Gets on base, steals bags. He's got to just learn to cut down on the swing and stop trying to, launch it and stop chasing, start making contact. He's got enough speed. He could be like a Trey Turner. Aaron says, Dan, so what if Chapman hit well with runners in scoring position, hit 275, but was poor defensively, below average base runner, somewhat of a bad clubhouse guy? Just saying, can't have it all. Yeah, look, let's bring Lou back in here. He's come back. Aaron, I get it. You can't have it all. But my biggest gripe with the Giants on the Chapman deal is he's a good ball player, but they're not doing enough to supplement around him to actually make really good use of him. They're asking him to be the guy, and he's not the guy when it comes to leading a team offensively. So the fact that they want to bat him fourth or is about as low as fifth, that they look at him as the middle of the order pop when he doesn't hit 275, when he hits 241, his career average in the big leagues. And I don't see that changing with Matt Chapman. I don't see all of a sudden Matt Chapman hitting 265. So I don't understand the mindset of signing a Matt Chapman, but not then building around him so that he can be more productive, that he would become less of a liability. Because when you add an Alonso and you add a Bregman, the lineup gets stretched and it extends itself. And then Chapman coming up in the 7th spot is like, hey, we got Matt Chapman coming up. You don't feel so bad. Like, okay, he's the 7th place hitter. We've already knocked in 2. the pressure's off of him. But when he's hitting fourth or fifth, I mean,
that's the money.
yeah,
You got to come clutch. Dan, I think 3 things you said that are pretty big. We're definitely not athletic. And when you bring up these lineups, do you guys remember like when we had the freak batting, when we had pitchers bat, we had more lineups 1 through 8, and the pitcher was really our only out guaranteed. Now, when you bat 6, 7, and 8, the way we hit, it's almost like going into a ball game where we only have 5 solid batters, but we're assured 4 outs. And then that's the one reason why we don't get the big innings. That's why we don't get, 4 hits, scored 3 runs, get a walk, and all of a sudden you put a crooked number. That's why so many times in Giant games, it's 1-0 in the 6th, and we've gotten maybe a whopping 2 hits. That's the thing. First of all, I do want to apologize, guys. Sorry, chat. Sorry, Dan. I had to get some tickets. We had tickets for, I don't know if you're aware, but next weekend, the Clown Show comes to town, the NBA All-Star Game. It's going to be at Chase, but they're doing also practice at Oakland Arena. And we had to pick the only tickets that are courtside are actually tickets. Everything else, electronics. So I had to go down there, make sure he had everything. And when you deal with courtside seats, everything's cash. So I had to count, a little liquid for him. So I apologize, chat, for leaving. Sorry, Dan, for leaving. But I think the one thing is our team just is not athletic.
That's
when you look at someone like Baltimore, some of these upcoming teams, they have athletes. Kansas City, athletes. They have young studs. We don't really have studs, and we don't have any young studs. Now, we have someone like Eldridge that we're hoping could be a stud, but he's still probably 6 months away. And referring when I leave where Dan says, what do we have next year? There's only 2 free agents. We're not getting them. So that means now we're going to be in 2027 with basically Chapman 2 years older, Adames 2 years older, and Webb 2 years older, with really nothing on the future. And we're just hoping that Eldridge is one of those things. You know what I mean? So it's difficult because if Farham would have been actually a real good GM and president of operations 3 years ago when we had a chance to get rid of pitchers and get young talent, those guys would now be on our major league roster. If he would have done it 2 years ago, we would have had upcoming guys. If he would have done it last year, and it steamrolls into effect where, the Dodgers aren't great because it happened over 1 year. It's taken over 5 years where they're getting little pieces, and then they get 2 pieces that add to the little pieces. Right now we have sort of 2 pieces out of 9, and we're hoping a piece in the minors is going to come up. That's not a good future. That's not a good look ahead, because people got to keep thinking while we're trying to get ahead, the Dodgers are set for 8 years. Okay. Arizona set for 5 years. San Diego, once they figure out this ownership thing, they're not going to probably, with that stadium going crazy, they're probably going to do whatever it takes to get back where they were. And then Colorado's not always going to be the worst. The Giants got to do something soon. And Dan said the other day, how about do something dramatic? Our Bay Area teams, we've been so spoiled, guys, from the Niners, the Giants, and the Warriors. Sometimes you got to do something out of the box. Sort of like, in the NBA when nobody thought Luka would be traded. No way. They traded Luka for AD. But Mavericks have a plan. And if they, maybe pick some up now, it looks a lot better. We don't even think or dream about certain things. Probably the last thing was we knew we weren't going to get Ohtani, but Judge. That's it. Now you know why Judge didn't come here. It's a big thing. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, architect, good thoughts. Definitely a miscast on this team. On a team with a real lineup, he's fine, but as the guy, he's totally miscast. And he says here again, he's a luxury on a great team, not a player to build around. He's not a bad ball player, but he shouldn't be your main guy. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to rip on Matt Chapman. I think he's a really good baseball player, guys. It's just that if he's the guy you're building around, and he's the guy that finished higher than any Giant last year in MVP votes, higher than Ramos. So everybody loves Chapman because of his WAR, because a lot of that's comes from the defensive side, but I don't see where, I want to do an exercise here. Okay, so we've got a lot of basketball talk going on in the chat. Okay, about KD.
It's only one guy talking on Giants baseball. It's one guy talking about the Warriors. It's not even a done deal yet.
All right. So let me pull up something, guys. I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to go through some box scores. I haven't looked at them, and I'm just from last year, and just see how the Giants did with runners in scoring position. Okay, this is a game against the Padres. I don't know if they won or lost. Let's see. They scored 3 runs. The Padres, they won 3-2. Padres were 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The Giants 0 for 6. And so that's just one game. Let's take a look.
Look at those great double plays. Look how many double plays we hit.
Yeah. So let me take a look at the next game, and we'll pick this one. This was April 5th. We just looked at. They won 3-2. This game they lost 4-0. San Diego runners in scoring position 1 for 1. The Giants 0 for 4. So we've looked at 2 games randomly. They're 0 for 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a look at the next game. I'm just
Some
picking.
Things never change.
Okay, what game was that? That was they lost. Okay, let's pick the next game. Box score. April 7th, Sunday. San Diego was 2 for 11. That's ouch. Giants 1 for 7. Runners in scoring position. Okay, so now they
2 more double plays.
1 for 17. Okay. So this is just kind of, and this is early on in the season. Let's take a look at the next game against Washington. Okay. And they were 0 for 10. Oh my gosh. Now they are 1 for 27. And we just picked up 1 for 27. Okay. But let's take a look at the lineup. What's going to be different? You got Lee, Flores, Wade, Soler's gone. So you could say Chapman's in there, or Adames. Chapman's there. Yaz is there. Estrada's gone. Bailey. So there's not a lot of change in that lineup. What is going to change from year to year? The law of averages, according to Robert. I said, Lou, I don't know if you heard me say a turd is a turd. It's not. It stinks. Yep. Law averages, a turd's all of a sudden going to come some sweet smelling perfume. Okay, let's look at the next game. They're 1 for 27 in the 4 games we've looked at. They've got to break out somewhere. 1 for 6. So now they're 2 for 33. 2 for 33. And I am just picking games, and I think
that's not a good formula, Dan. That's a horrible formula.
Okay, where's the next game? What did we just look at? Washington. Okay, the next game is they won 7-1. I bet you they did well with runners in scoring position here. 6 for 8. There you go.
That's winner.
Look, and you won.
Only 2 double plays.
Yeah. So from 2 for 33 to now 8 for 41. That's much better.
And Dan, the one thing about runner scoring position, that game, they still won 7-2 and they only left 3 guys on. We didn't really look to see when they're batting, 0 for 10, how many runners they left on to give you even a worse indication,
Next game, they're back at it, 0 for 10. Okay. This is the
9 guys left on.
I'm just looking at some random games, and
we don't have Estrada anymore. He got freedom.
Dan, you need to see how Chapman's defense to see how that helped the Giants hit. You need to see how Chapman's defense to see how that helped the Giants hit. Yeah. The mindset of these players are extremely confident. Hey, you know what I heard on baseball foul territory? They had FP Santangelo Jr. on, and he was talking with AJ Przinsky and a couple of other ex-ball players. And, FP's talking about, I've been with Buster. I've got to be around him quite a bit, been going to FanFest and talking to Buster. And, these guys, he's got high character guys. And these high character guys he's building a clubhouse with great guys. I mean, I think I'd rather have about 6 a-holes that can hit than 9 guys in the lineup that are just great guys.
And you're here. This is from FP, who got fired from the Washington Nationals. The guy wasn't a great player, but he's been a decent broadcaster, and we brought him back because we had nobody else. Another homer. Great.
Yeah, architect saying the same thing I said. Give me low character guys that can hit.
Yeah.
Nice guys finish last.
Like the Yankees and Bad News Bears, guys that are good, hungry.
The Giants in 2010, 12, 14, let me tell you, they had good character guys, but they also had good players. They had great pitching. They led the league in pitching in 2010.
Great situation hitters. They didn't have great hitters, but when the situation came big, they did it. The other thing too is, the Giants on defense, it's not like we have 9 Golden Glove guys. We have 2. Okay? 2 guys that are good guys. They play short and third, but we don't have a good first baseman, and we're experimenting with second. So, it's sort of
how about these guys?
Bonds and Kent. They hated each other, but they're both MVPs.
Right. Yeah.
And then you add someone like Mitchell. You remember how solid they were when they had the big 3?
Yeah. Yeah. How about Mad Bum? He was a good guy, but he was not this, choir boy.
No.
He didn't take any crap. I want some guys that, just because everybody's a super nice guy in the clubhouse and that you're going to build, I listen to them and I think in myself, you're going to build this great camaraderie. And look, that's all good.
Little League?
It's all good, but you got to have talent. You got to have some talent too. And I just think look, I'm all for having positive. I really am. I think it is important. I think the Giants have lacked some unity over the last couple of years. But I would like to see some more emotion. The Giants have a team that, even the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers, we all, we're not Dodger fans. We can't stand them, right? But they're players, pretty high character guys. Betts, Freeman, Ohtani, all likable guys if you weren't, if they're on your team. So Will Smith, I mean, they don't really have anybody that seems to be a real jerk.
They had one and they got rid of him, the pitcher.
Oh, Puig?
No, 2 years ago.
Oh, Bauer?
Yeah, Bauer. And everyone that's a problem child, they got rid of. The Giants would keep them. Oh, well, we have to. No, you got to have, and if you look at 2010, 12, and 14, everyone put their egos away and they played as one. But you got to have players to play as one.
I look at the Dodgers and I look at them and I watch them play. They seem like they're having a lot of fun. They get on base and they do this, whatever, that stupid little, hey, over there. And they're doing all that. But you know what? They're having fun and they're connected. The Giants, they get on base and I don't even know what they do, but they don't have any enthusiasm. I don't see any enthusiasm on this team the last few years. Guys hit home runs and I don't see, a lot of having fun. And I think what contributes to the lack of fun on this team is nobody knows where they stand. And you're probably rooting for the guy that's playing in front of you to fail because you're hoping you get your chance. You're like, I hope he screws up because I'm probably going back to Sacramento if he has a good series. It's this constant up and down. There's no like unity that I have seen. And I've been in the clubhouse, all right? I was in the clubhouse in 23, the entire spring training, every day. There wasn't a bad dude on the roster. They were all good guys, okay? But they weren't a good team. So I don't know this whole thing about having really good guys. I thought they were all pretty straight shooters, seemed like, you had Crawford, Minaya. I'm just thinking of a lot of the guys. Peterson was on the team. They were all, very cordial. None of them seemed like a jerk to me. And yet you also had Kapler. And so the organization it's just been really, I think last year, if you really want to have a bunch of good guys and have some guys that are playing hard, I think a guy like Stephen Vogt would have been really good to hire.
That's what I said. Even bring back David Bell, you got to do something different. You got to get out of this mold. And, I know Buster's different, but, he played for the Giants 20 years ago. So let's bring him back. Okay. But he was good, 15 years ago. I know he's coming off an injury. Let's see what we can get. That rarely happens. There's only one Roy Hobbs, that got sidetracked, and the problem with the Giants too, is they do that with coaches. You got to think outside the box, we talk about Melvin. He was a safe pick. Why did we get him? Well, he managed for the A's. So what does that mean? He didn't get it. He ruined the Padres. It's like, everything's got to be safe. We got to do something different. Now, I know getting Buster was being different, but, I just think it was a safe play, and the Giants really, tell you the truth, the last couple of years, we haven't seen the energy. Dan, you're like me. You probably watch as many Giant games you can. I go to games, people show up second, third inning. They don't care. They're more worried about leaving early. It used to be at the new ballpark. First time there, you want to see all the new restaurants so you can pick out your spot. I always do that with the last spring training game, see where the beer stands are so I can get ready for the games. And I'm always there for the national anthem, right? I stand up. I get pissed off when people are sitting down. I always put my hand on my heart because to me, I think you're at a sacred place watching an incredible game. And people are talking on the phones, and it comes back where, Candlestick, there was about 11,000 real true Giants fans. That's how it's getting at the ballpark, Oracle. And I think the worst thing
I don't understand the game.
It's just different.
You know what? If I went to a ball game and got there in the third inning, I'm pissed. I'm really pissed because when I lived in the East Bay, I lived in Concord, grew up in Concord. I never got to a game late. I never left early. I didn't care, if I had to sit and when I was going to Candlestick, that I had to sit in that, and walk forever to get to the my car, and then there was a horrible parking lot to get out of.
And one way to get in, one way to get out. Yep.
Yeah, one way. Yeah, back out to the freeway. Yeah, I didn't care. I just like, what? It was an event. I enjoyed it, and I was gonna, soak it all in. But yeah, this is back to the whole thing as we wrap this thing up here, coming up here. I don't think the organization, Lou, I just wish they said, this is our plan. We're going to, have you heard anything? We are going to be a competitive team and we're going to we're shooting for the playoffs this year. I haven't heard anybody say they're
Nothing
shooting for
like
the playoffs.
last year, except Larry Barry, who's fallen on his noodle too many times,
Yeah.
predicting 95 wins.
Yeah.
And then that knucklehead who's dating the VP of merchandise at Tommy's. They're the only two people that assured me because Buster's in charge. And, hey, Buster's in charge. But if we don't get the results, it doesn't matter who's in charge. But, I just think it's just the point right now where I don't know what it is. It's like, is everyone just been blindsided that this team's not that good? Or, there's just something in the juice? Because, the fans know what's going on, but the management is like telling us something different, like it's a different team.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron here, good point. Buster has to start somewhere. The team isn't going to be rebuilt in one offseason. If we want to see what unproven minor leaguers have for a length of time, why can't Buster be afforded the same? Well, let me answer that this way, Aaron. When Buster took over, he tried to give hope like this team was ready to win. Okay? We heard all the Chapman stuff in the offseason. We're gonna win. We're gonna be in the playoffs next year. I'm talking to people, and then Buster comes in. It's high hopes, and then he signs Adamas, and talks are they're going after Burns, and then it's like the brakes get put on, and there's no real direction of, hey, we're gonna, this year's gonna be a year where we're looking at young guys and we think we're gonna be better for it in the future. I didn't hear any talk like that, and I don't hear any talk like, hey, we're going for it. I don't know what the direction is. There seems to be it's almost like there really is no blueprint. It's kind of like, let's just
wing it
do it by the seat
hope.
of our pants here.
Yeah.
And let's just see if we can put this together. And that's what the whole context is. The Giants, the worst organization in baseball, because what is the plan? At least the White Sox, I see a plan. They're trading off Roche. They're trying to trade off Robert. They're going to go with younger guys, and they've got they were second in ESPN's, minor league, top minor leagues. So I just want to see them have a direction. I don't care if they're rebuilding. If they are, you know what? I'd be happy. Just tell us kind of what the plan is. You expect season ticket holders, you want their money before the end of the season for the following season. And yet you don't say what the direction is. You keep thinking, everybody keeps thinking, oh, they're really just being kind of quiet and under the radar. They're really going to get Pete Alonso. I watched Alex Pavlovic and Cole Kuiper the other day on their podcast, and they basically said this is done. They're done making moves. They are not adding Pete Alonso. They even talked about Alonso and Bregman and other guys. This is it. This is the club. And I go back to this, Lou. Unproven youngsters and washed up over the hill, a perfect combo to contend. Yeah. I go back to this. Does Posey have the guts at the deadline? You guys are not in it to tear it down. I hope so, because I see a lot of cautiousness right now. I see a guy who's really just trying to learn the job. So, Lou, when I say what's the direction, let me ask you this, Lou, and let you close this out.
Well, they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're not thinking of the future. They're not moving forward so they can be more successful. They're just hoping, hey, I hope we have a good week. And again, the way the season starts, their first 42 games, do not be surprised if they're not like 10-32 or 16-26. It's not easy. And with our team, one of the things we haven't spoken about, and it happened a lot last year, is if somebody goes down, we're not deep. We're not deep in any position at all. When you really think about it, it's horrible. And then, Dan, I want to bring up something that you can bring up the chat that we talked about on our show on Sunday night. It's just not Buster that's really disappointing me. You got Larry Bear, the VP of merchandise. Dan, why don't you tell him what the Giants decided to do when the Dodgers take over on a Friday night at Oracle the first time they come in? Why don't you tell the chat what a smart move this is?
Okay.
When the place is packed and probably 30,000 Dodger fans and maybe, 12,000 Giants fans. This is the whole Giants in one.
Okay. They're running the ball club from top to bottom like it's the local school board that just is running the insane asylum, and none of them went to college. None of the school board members are so we're gonna have the LA Dodgers come into town on a Friday night.
First time all year.
When we know that's a sellout, doesn't matter if there's hot dogs are $2 more for that night and beers are more. It's a sellout, okay? The game's going to be a sellout, and you're going to have people in mass come as Dodger fans, and Giants fans will gladly sell their season tickets, all 7,000 of them, because they can make some money. So you're going to have a bunch of Dodger fans and they think in advance. They probably already got their tickets, and there's groups that are coming, and they probably already have their tickets, while Giants fans are not thinking like that. And that's why the Giants, even at Costco, there's a discount on tickets right now. The Giants are selling a pack of 2 for $99. There's a Costco sign that said there's $79, $20 off. So you're going to have this great night. And you know what? Let's celebrate with Barry Bonds bobblehead night. And you'd think most people in promotions that get a job that understand, you generally do promotions when you're trying to get the ballpark filled. It's already going to be full. So you're wasting the giveaway. Now you're going to bring in 25 to 30,000 Dodger fans out of the 40,000. And it's Barry Bonds bobblehead night. The Dodgers' biggest enemy, Barry Bonds. They can't stand him. It'd be kind of like the Giants fans invading LA, and it's Yasiel Puig bobblehead night. What are the Giants fans going to do? They're going to decapitate that head. So I see a bunch of rolling Barry Bonds heads all around Oracle Park that night. Like, those bobbleheads, you can just yank them off with one little tug.
Yeah.
They're just not, you don't even have to have any strength. It's just boom.
The security in the bleachers can only do so much.
Yeah. So we've got, let me see here. Hold on. I will be right back with a prop.
I think the problem with the Giants is it starts all the way to the top with the owners and it goes all the way through. It's ridiculous. If you guys saw the promotions, what they're doing, some of the games that they charge more than others, it's absolutely out of control. So that's what I mean, top to bottom. Just, they got to fire everyone with the Giants. Doesn't matter who it is. You got to get rid of them and get a fresh start. This team is run so bad. But yeah, imagine if the Giants are down like 12-2 in the 7th inning stretch and one Dodger fan throws the bobblehead. Before you know it, there's going to be 10,000 thrown at one of our players in the top of the 7th.
I couldn't find my bobbleheads. I wasn't going to decapitate Willie Mays for sure, or Buster.
Yeah, obviously.
But here's a here's a trophy from 1954. My dad's football trophy from high school.
70 years ago.
Captain of the 1954. There it is.
Wow.
Lou Coachmel. You can't read it, but see, I can just take this, just screws right off. And
you can keep the top part and throw the bottom part. That probably can hurt somebody, the bottom.
Yeah. So you see, I mean, I'm not going to.
Yeah, I understand your example.
So there, I mean, but it's just a tug. I mean, some Dodger fans,
spring.
Some of the classier Dodger fans will probably like having a Barry Bonds bobblehead. They might be able to sell it on eBay. But it's just one of those things. Look, guys, we want to be positive on here. I really do. I want to come on here and talk up the Giants and say, this is going to be a great year. I want to be like Larry Bear and say, this really is a 95-win team. Okay? I don't know the next time the Giants do win 90 games. I really don't. I don't foresee it in this decade, Lou.
2021 was a curse more than we'll ever know.
We
may never get out of it. You know,
it set us back.
It set us back probably 10 years.
You know
why?
All
angles. Farhan would have been gone. We would have played the youth. We would have a new man. I mean, just so much went in.
Yeah, if 21 didn't happen, it was a lot of fun. I got to admit, it was a fun, magical season. There was excitement. But if it didn't happen, I think Farhan, if it was a 500 team, Farhan was definitely gone after the 22 season, after 4 years. And then, maybe it is a different game. But we'll never know. But guys, we do thank you for being part of the show. It's been great. Lou's heading back to tomorrow, New Orleans.
Humidity central. It's like 95% humidity. So if you watch any of the reporters and they're all sweating while we're doing the live reports, I mean, I'm not doing a live report, but on ESPN, you'll know why. People are like dying back there. So hopefully my flight, I don't know, Dan, one of the things I wanted to tell everybody, hey, tonight, early in the morning tonight in the Bay Area, please be careful. 35, 40 mile-an-hour winds and first real torrential rain. So please be careful driving. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry. Just let everyone know.
I was just going to say, Robert says, do you think Chapman, Webb, Verlander are not optimistic? I think all of them are optimistic, Lou. I would say most of the players are optimistic. Probably some of the younger guys who got jacked around by Farhan for years maybe are a little bit gun shy of wondering what's going to happen to them. But, so I'm just reading something. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Anyway, I'm getting text and I'm in the middle of it. So, all right, guys, let's get out of here. We'll tomorrow night, we'll probably be doing a little basketball. Warriors are in Utah. Maybe we'll have some trade news to talk about.
Back-to-back.
Yep. And then Thursday night in LA. So yeah, it's kind of, Giant stuff. We try and keep it fresh and keep doing stuff, but you can only talk about the Giants for so long. And guys, if you have any ideas for a show that you want, put it in the YouTube comments or send me an email at norcalsportsnetwork@gmail.com. Let me see if I can pull that email up. Yeah, if you've got ideas for something that you want us to cover, please let us know. We will do our best to, put a show together because we're trying to come up with content that will be interesting, engaging, but sitting here talking about the Giants, the same stuff when they do nothing, they're boring. Okay. It's a boring offseason. It's a boring team. Look, does that mean I don't like the Giants? Exact opposite. Okay. I love the players. I really love Matos. I got to know him. He's really cool. I love Elliot Ramos. Very cool guy. A great guy to talk to. Same with Casey Schmidt, Tyler Fitzgerald. Bailey's a good guy. I haven't met Chapman, but I'm sure he seems like a great guy. Okay. Look, I don't have anything against any of these players personally. Even Yaz is a good guy. I've met him in the clubhouse. Super cool guy. Webb, great guy. I mean, these guys are high character, good people. I've interviewed probably just about everyone on the team except for some of the guys that have come on in the last year. All right. I haven't met a bad apple on this team. But my beef is not with the players, the individual players. My beef is with the ownership group, Greg Johnson, Larry Baer. Okay. And I think Buster's being held back. I don't think Buster sat here with the idea of just staying 26 million under the cap. So just because he's part owner does not mean he can do the show, run it the way he wants to. So I think he's being held back. And I think as long as you have this ownership group, I don't see a lot of hope for this franchise. And I'm just being honest. And I wish to be wrong. I want to see but I don't think the people have the desire to win. You got to have the desire inside.
Yeah,
you got to
have
get
a lot worse before it gets better.
Yeah, you got to have the fire in the belly, as they say. You got to have the fire, Rock. Hey, Rock. You got to have Rock. You want to fight?
Women weaken legs.
Women weaken legs. That's right, Rock. Look, they don't have the fire.
Yeah,
Look
like
at
Mr.
the Dodgers
T.
owners. Look at the Dodgers owners. They are motivated to win more than the fans, Ned Colletti said. The Giants ownership group got happy. They got a minimum of 2 and probably 3 world championships more than they thought they'd get. Okay? They got 1 and they were thrilled, and they got 2 more, and it's like they have a lifetime full. They're full. They're content, and it shows.
And Dan, what do you think the Dodgers owners and management are saying? Oh, guys, we're getting so good. Let's hold off and let the Giants get closer to us again. No, you should have seen the Giants stomped and told the Dodgers, we got 3 in 5 years. The Dodgers are not going to be satisfied until they get 3 in a row, 5 in 6 years. They're not going to be stopping. I mean, they're loaded right now for the next 5 years. It's not even close.
Phone off. I've got to get a phone off. I got diarrhea texter going on me crazy right now.
It happens.
It's like going for 300 or 400 in 2 days. All right, guys.
Nice.
We're out of here, Lou. Have a great trip.
Maybe I'll bring something back and I can send it to you. We can do a giveaway. Are we getting close to 5 dimes? 5,000?
Let's see. I think we're about 300 plus away. Let me take a look. Our current subs is sitting at 46.48. So we're 352 away. We've
And Dan, before I leave, who do you like in the big game? Who do you like? Are you on the Philly bandwagon like 96% of America? Are you going to
the only way I think the only way Philly wins this game is if it's a fair called game. If the fix is in for the three-peat, I don't see how they win it.
Let me ask you this. If Philly cannot run the ball.
No, they have no chance.
All right.
If Philly can't run but I'll tell you what I think, knowing Sirianni, he probably comes out throwing. Trying to I wouldn't be surprised if Spags, plays 7, 8 in the box, maybe,
Yep.
and just tries to dare him to run
Make
or
Hurst,
dare him to pass,
make Hurst
dare
throw.
him to pass. I mean, the one thing that KC can do is guard one-on-one. They can play man.
I think it's going to be more of a low-scoring game than people make it out to be. I mean, there is a casino in New Orleans, so I'm definitely going to probably, go by. Maybe I can take a little video while I'm there, and I'm definitely going to play under Barkley 117 yards. I think it's either 112 or under 117 because I think that's the only way KC can win.
Well, yeah,
he's got. I just hope it's a good game. A lot of people just aren't excited because it's like everyone wanted, fresh blood, Buffalo, Detroit, but
yeah, that would have been great, Buffalo, Detroit.
Yeah. And little reminder, you guys know next year the Super Bowl's here in Santa Clara, so
that's right.
I'll see what we can do. Maybe we can do something where I can get Dan and we can come to the party and do a live feed. That'd be
what's
fun.
nice though about the NFL
at the party. Yeah.
What's nice about the NFL is the season ends Sunday, and then we get right into when does free agency start?
I think it's 5 days after the Super Bowl.
Let me look.
I think it's one of those things. 5 days you can talk to them, but you can't sign them for a week. You know what I mean? How they do that sort of weird. That weird thing where you could talk, you just can't sign, which makes no sense.
It's not till March 12th. So there is about a month. March 12th. Okay. But you got all this other stuff that gets going. You get the combine going, and you get the draft, and you get free agencies happening. And with baseball, the baseball season ends end of October, early November. And here we are, February, and we're still talking about guys that haven't signed. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's amazing because my favorite week of the year is opening day for baseball, the Masters, and the Final Four all happen basically simultaneously. So there is life besides football.
Outsmart KC, be one step. Yeah, you got to be one step ahead of them. That's a very good point.
Yep.
And I like to see. You think we'll see a fake punt in this game?
I don't know. If you go to Better, one of our sponsors, that's right. I think they have something like that. Better. Guys, a lot of propositions on that. Take time.
Right there, baby. BETR. Make sure the official daily sponsor of NorCal Sports Network. Go download the app right now. Go ahead. BETR on your phone. Download it. Put in the promo code NCSN for a deposit match of up to $250. $250 match plus a free pick. Go do that, man. It is a blast to play. You will have fun. And check this out. Heroku, 0-8 Vic Fangio against the Chiefs. Andy Reid with the bye is like something like 19-3 or something. Yeah, it's probably the Chiefs. Yeah,
Mark, no horse racing, but I'll be betting on Saturday. They have the Tampa Bay Derby. The problem is security is going to be crazy because we're actually staying in the French Quarters. And then our hotel is actually the Fox Hotel. So the broadcasters are all staying there. And I don't know if you guys saw 47's coming to the game. So security is even going to be, crazier. So I'm just hoping
he
can
is.
Get internet. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Trump's going to the game. Okay. So all right. Yes, Low says fake punt or field goal. Kyle's not coaching.
Expect the unexpected.
Man, you know what Kyle should just do? He should just do something. He should just be completely different next year. He should just be, just have this big long gray beard, just go gray and just be crazy and do all these crazy things. No punts. I'm not punting. Be like that one high school coach that doesn't believe in punting. 4th and 30 at your own 6-yard line. We're going for it.
Gotta love it.
There is a coach like that in high school. He doesn't believe in punting. He just, think about it. The teams that go for it. Washington was pretty darn good. They got to the NFC Championship by going for it on 4th down a ton.
Yeah.
So Dan, would you ever consider having a 24-hour giant marathon?
Is he talking about a show? 24
I think
hours?
so. Yeah. Robert, it would be at my wake. It would be everybody visiting me, and the camera would be on my casket. I'd just be laying there like this. 24 hours you can watch. Oh gosh. What would make me do a 24-hour marathon show? It would be,
I will guarantee this, Dan. If the Giants win 11 games in a row, not 10, 11, we will do a 24-hour giant marathon. 11 wins in a row.
Oh, Lou, that will have to be shift work. You can have about 20 of it. I'll show up for.
It's all right. We'll be on starting at 8:00. You take an hour break, a couple hour break. Sleep, come back
11,
here. We'll put Bo
11
on.
game winning
We'll put
streak.
Bo on. Yeah, we'll put Bo on for a couple hours.
You guys
Buster
Bo?
can relieve.
Here's Bo right here. Look at Bo.
Hey, Bo! Happy birthday!
It's Bo's birthday. Hey, Bo, come here. Come on, say hello to everybody. Come on, Bo, sit.
Hey, buddy.
Here's Bo. Here's Bo.
Hey, he just goes to the same spot.
Yeah, he's really starting to adapt. Where's Buster? Oh, there's Buster over there. Hey, Buster. Come here. Come on, Buster. Come say goodnight to everybody. Okay, Bo. You good boy. You good boy. He's won today. Bo's won. There's his tail.
Boy.
Half a tail.
He doesn't care. At least not injuring himself.
Hiroku says he'll watch 24 hours if Chapman gets traded because he waives his no trade clause.
Yeah, that's the rule. I didn't know about that. Are you aware that if you sign a 6-year deal, after you've been in the majors 10 years, which Chapman does, it automatically puts a no trade clause in. And that's one of the reasons why nobody wants to sign Bergman for 6 years and he's going to sign 4 years.
Chapman's only been around for 8, he's only played 8, so he doesn't have 10 years.
I thought, I thought they were talking about on Major League Baseball Network. One of the reasons. Oh, no, maybe it was, the first baseman for the Mets. If you give him 6, it's automatic, Sorry, guys, I'm a little tired. These late night shows with Dan, it gets to occasionally.
We're out of here. Here's my deal. We'll do a 24-hour show if the Giants bring in the fences like I proposed.
Oh, God. So
they
no
change
show.
The dimensions.
We have hope.
They change the dimensions.
No show.
And if they actually wise up and say, we're gonna make Eldridge the cornerstone of the team, and he's going to hit 40-plus bombs. The ballpark will not hold him back. And we're then going to actually get free agents to come here. Guys like Bryce Harper, when he was in his free agency years ago, you're going to have guys that say, you know what? San Francisco, beautiful ballpark. I can hit bombs there. Nothing holds it back. It's a little cooler in the summer, which is kind of nice. It gives me a little break. My body, I don't have to play in the hot summer, in the humidity, and I get to play in a beautiful ballpark city, and I got all these young players that are coming up now. They're great players. It's a destination spot. No, we won't do that. We're going to make it really hard to hit home runs in right field because we're never going to attract a really powerful left-handed free agent because he's not going to come here and screw up his Hall of Fame numbers. So we'll just have to deal with the Hanigers of the world.
Average.
Right. Yeah. All right, guys, let me get the music. We're out of here. Thanks for being part of text. Tell me what's going on. I'll relay it to the chat. And guys, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. That 3 a.m. slot, that is booked for Chardal. That is the guy. Look. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to Robert, who turned 74 last week. There he is, Robert. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see ya mañana.